Okay, so I got my soil, and I got a little bit in each pot, so you can see that. If you have potting soil at home, that would be great. If you don't have any kind of soil, and you don't have the ability to go get soil, these will still germinate if you just go outside and get regular soil out of the ground, and you just need to fill it up. Obviously, potting soil is the best to start these, but it is what it is. We're living in times that, you know, sometimes it can be tricky to get the resources we need, and that's okay. So we've got our little seed cups that we made, and now I've got my seeds, and like I said, these were the seeds I got at Southern States. I've got my cucumber, I've got tomato, and I've also got my peppers. So on the back, when you look at them, they tell you. So this one is my cucumber, and it'll tell you, the big thing is how deep to plant it right now. We want to make sure we plant it at least a ½ inch deep, and the tomatoes have to get planted no more than 1/8 of an inch. So I just like leaving them on the top. And then this one's 1/4 inch. And if you look inside, these are tiny seeds, little itty bitty seeds. So my helper here, he's gonna plant these for me. Okay, so you're gonna get, I like to plant 2 seeds per pot when I do vegetables, 2 or 3. That way at least one of them comes up. So let's put it over here, Jace, so you don't lose it. Why don't we get you a plate and you can put them on here. Dump them out so we don't lose them. We're gonna do tomatoes first?
Yeah, we're gonna do.
Okay, so put the tomatoes down. Okay, oh yeah, you just put them all out there. Okay, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna put, because they're only 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch is like this big, Jace, little teeny. So we're gonna put like one, make a little hole with my finger where I want you to put it. Put 1 seed in each spot. Okay, so you see he's got 3 seeds in there. We'll put the rest back in the baggie. You just take your fingers and just kind of slide them back in. Be careful. So once they're like this, you do need to cover them just a little bit. Just a little bit so they got some contact. And then that should be good. Now, as far as labeling them, because you know you're supposed to label them, these are tricky to label because you've got black soil and they're covered. There's lots of different things I was thinking about that you could use. If you have tape, I have toothpicks here. You could put tape around the tip of the toothpick and label them that way, which is what I'm going to try to find a way to do. So you've got it, just like put a T on it so you know it's a toothpick or tomato, or somehow that you're going to label these. You can get, if you have masking tape, you can put it on the side and label them with your tomato. So we're going to do that in a little bit. I got to find some tape. I'm trying to find things this morning to do this. So it's been a little tricky because I'm trying to do what you're doing. I'm going around the house trying to find things I could use for this. Creativity is the key here, guys. We want to make sure that we are finding ways to label them because you want to know what they are. The other thing you could always do is you could always just put a piece of paper down and you could label it tomato, and then you could put this on the paper so that you know that that's your tomato if you don't have tape and if you don't have anything like that. So there's ways you can go about labeling these creatively. Remember, you're doing them for your home use. It's not like we're in the greenhouse and everything's got to be labeled perfectly where you're selling it. But you do want to know what you're growing so that you can continue to care for it in the way that it needs to be cared. Remember, when we talked about all this seeding stuff, and we're indirectly seeding right now, you want to plant them appropriately, you want to label them, and then they need water. Okay, so this soil that I got is already kind of damp, and I also put in some holes in the bottom, but you do want to make sure you water it. And the key with this is like dribbling water over it right now until you can get water through it, because you don't want to flood these and then your seeds may end up deeper than you want them. So you just want to kind of dribble water on it and then keep them moist. Now remember, something else you could do, being that it's inside, and a lot of our houses are pretty dry out right now. Like, we've still got heat going. Remember in the video, or in the PowerPoints when we learned about seeding, you can always put them in like a baggie or cover them with some kind of saran wrap just to keep the moisture in your soil so you're not losing it. And that's something you can do. But as soon as the seedling starts to germinate, you definitely want to take that off because they're going to need oxygen. And I would open it at least once a day to make sure that you're getting that oxygen into the pot. So that's what we got for you this morning to get your seeds started. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do our peppers and we're gonna do our cucumbers and get them started. And then hopefully you guys can do this. If you have these types of plants at home, or if you have like Dixie cups, you can use Dixie cups. If you've got paper cups, you can use paper cups. Anything you can find that, you know, you just need it to be about this size. You know, it's not huge, it's not massive. If I look, you know, it's like the height of my finger. It's not that big. Water bottles are perfect. When I saw that this morning, I'm like, oh, I can use the water bottles. That's something I know everybody probably has that you could use to start your seeds with. And then we'll keep an eye on these, and I'll be making videos to show you how they're going. So happy Friday. When you get done watching this, I have we're gonna make Fridays, Plant ID Fridays. I was gonna go outside and take you around my lawn and show you some of my plants to see if you could ID them, but it's a little chilly out, it's a little windy out, and you can't hear me very well. So we're gonna do that as soon as it's a nice day. I'll make the video and I'll share that with you guys. But for today, what I have for you to do is there is a Quizlet that's got some plant ID. So you can go ahead and work on the Quizlet, see if you know your plants. Remember, we've gone over, at least in Plant Science 1, we've gone over all the plants except for about 15 of them. So you should know most of these, being that we've gone over at least 110. So go ahead and play around with that. Maybe work with your parents and see if they know the plants that you've been learning as well. So have a good weekend, and don't forget, if this is Plant Science 3, we will be Zooming on Tuesday. So make sure you join our Zoom.